go into your intros and take it from there. Give people a few minutes to get on. Yes, here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday night Wine Down Wednesdays. I am not drinking wine today, but welcome back to this episode, this show. I am very excited to have Alex again on my channel to talk a lot more about the different benefits that his company or the company that he is working through, Guardian Insurance, and just to kind of educate you more on what's possible for us living in Mexico. And tonight is going to be a little bit of a different focus in regard to insurance. So if you haven't been here before, I am Michelle. I am located in San Miguel de Allende, which is in central Mexico. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Be sure to subscribe, hit the like button. I've been living in San Miguel de Allende since June of 2018. I absolutely love living in Mexico. I am here to represent all the things that are, up, down, right, left, and around in a circle in regard to living in this amazing city, this really amazing country, in my opinion. And just kind of to give anyone who's interested in learning more about how to do it, the different things like this that are very important, and bringing that information to you. So if you have questions, we will have a Q&A towards the end, but probably throughout, depending on how many people are asking those questions. But Alex is going to spend some time talking to us about insurance and really end of life type things, right? We don't like having these conversations, but it's very important. And I want to emphasize how important that is, especially for the majority of expats that move here. A lot come alone or live alone, and we have our fun get-togethers and all that. But honestly, if I had to contact an extended person beyond those fun get-togethers, I probably wouldn't be able to do that unless I got on Facebook, which is not the way you want to handle these types of things. So I think this conversation is going to be very important for how you plan living here, what can be covered, anything along those lines, and just kind of really making sure that you are prepared for your directives and how things should be handled for yourself. I think it's important to have these conversations. So here we are with Alex. I have had conversations with Alex before, but we had a conversation about insurance, medical insurance in Mexico quite a few months ago. So you can go back and look him up. It's Alex Dupuy. Am I saying that right? Oh, okay. And he's been living in Mexico, so he has a lot of insight. He's done insurance for a lot of years. I'll let him kind of continue with that. But I just want to say welcome. Thank you all. I hope you had a good Valentine's celebration last week. I was on vacation, so that's why you had that message that's like telling you to love on yourself. I hope you did that and love on the ones around you. I really enjoyed my trip. Went to Jamaica. It was amazing. So I came back, and I'm just ready to go again. So here we are, back live tonight. And yes, we'll be here. If you have questions, just keep jumping in the chat. Welcome to Dee, Brown Girls Invest too. She's someone else that lives here. She can get your financials straight. Okay, I've literally hired her. So we have a lot of talented people in our group and our amazing growing community here in San Miguel de Allende. And welcome to Dominga. Hi, how are you? Thank you. Missed you too. Thanks. I love my Jamaican tan also. Yes, this is Sin Foundation without. So without more chit-chatting, please go ahead and introduce yourself to us, Alex, and thank you for coming back. I appreciate it.
I need to thank you, Michelle. This is the second time I'm coming into your program. I'm very happy to be on it. I'm very excited to be in San Miguel and meeting all those new expats that are coming every day.
Yes.
And welcome to your audience. Some of them I already met that I know. Uh, just to give you a little background about me, I been in the insurance industry. This year will be 37 years.
Wow.
Yes. So I am semi-retiring from my insurance business in Florida because this is where we were.
Mhm.
Uh, I still have some accounts that I'm still taking care of in Florida. So from now and then, I would make a trip and go and take care of my accounts over there.
Okay.
But since us moving here in San Miguel, I thought, well, listen, why not offering some services that the
Mhm.
expats would need? So I am representing some companies that are from the United States.
Okay.
Most of the companies that I represent are from the United States, and
Mhm.
their market is geared to the expats. It could be here
Okay.
in Mexico, in Panama, wherever that the expats are.
Okay.
Uh, so it's a great opportunity for the expats to have that opportunity to look at what their needs are. And I'm
Mhm.
going to help them once they get to contact me. What are their
Mhm.
needs? I do what they call an intake, get their information, and then
Mhm.
see, where I can help them. I'm going to
Okay.
talk just briefly about medical insurance. I do offer private medical insurance for
Mhm.
those who are interested. Uh, and then now, today, we're going to be mostly talking about final expense insurance
Right.
because, and it happens to me. So this is why I know that a majority of people that will resonate with them
Mhm.
because they just made a brand new move coming into a new country.
Mhm.
So I think everybody who's coming into San Miguel are really ready to put their papers in order
Mhm.
because you just went through a lot of things with immigration, all those paperwork that you have to submit. If you're
Mhm.
married, marriage certificate, all of those documents, your bank accounts. So everything is very fresh in your mind. So I think this is a great time for us to talk about final expense insurance.
Mhm.
And basically, final expense insurance, and I'm going to go right into it, is a whole life insurance policy that has a small death benefit.
When you say
And
small, what does that mean?
that's a good question. It
Okay.
could be anywhere from five to $50,000.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to explain why small. First of all, a lot of the expats that are here are probably over the age of 65. We have a nice group now that are coming that are younger,
Mhm.
but the final expense is for someone that needs to have a life insurance that's going to take care of everything for them at their demise. In
Mhm.
other words, it's people think it's only life insurance. The program takes care of all the services that are needed to from transporting your body back to your home country,
Okay.
taking care of the uh, all of the embalming, casket, transportation. The family would have nothing to worry about setting all this up.
Okay.
All they will be needed to do is to make a phone call that will trigger all of that process to bring the body home, and that includes services, flowers, cremation, if this is what the insured wants,
Mhm.
or a funeral altogether.
So the coverage is here because we live here,
Yep,
but it would cover sending you back to wherever, mostly in the United States. I'm assuming even possibly worldwide,
absolutely.
and they will cover the expenses of the funeral cost, everything on the others on in the U.S. Right?
Exactly.
Even though you live here full time.
That's correct.
Okay, so walk us through, like the differences because, in Mexico, there's not really like, it's not normal to hold a body in a funeral home. Do you know like what the steps would be? Like, if someone dropped down today, because usually by tomorrow they would have been buried. And I know this because it's happened a few times with people that I know that are Mexican. It even happened to a really good friend of mine whose father was visiting him from Europe last week. He died, and they decided to cremate, and it was like less than a 24-hour process. It was a lot to
Right.
process, but it was less than a 24-hour process. So,
Well, it sounds dramatic. However, they here in Mexico, they will work with you. If
okay.
that it was decided that the body needs to be transported back to your home country, they will work with you to have this worked out with the paperwork and all that, at least for 48 hours to 72 hours.
Okay.
Now, now, if there is no decision made and there was nothing, then you're leaving the decision to the Mexico to make the decision for you, and that's their regulation that the body needs to be disposed immediately.
Right.
Then that's what's going to happen.
Okay. So before we move on, in regard to the decision part, like you making the decisions, does it have to be more than what you say on a life insurance policy? Do you have to have like directives that are separate from the life insurance policy? I mean, I don't know if that's a clear question
It is.
because I have a, whole estate planning and all that, and I say exactly what I want to have happen. Do I need to, like, let's say someone doesn't have that? Does the insurance come, like if you said I don't know if these are options, so I'm asking these questions. I want this, I want this, I want this. Would that also be enough, or do you need both, like two separate things?
No, you can have an estate planning and where you spell out everything how you want it to happen. But here's the trigger. Do you fund we are you funding that estate planning? What funds it? Because where's the money coming from at the time of your death?
No, I don't mean I'm paying for it. I mean, if I buy Guardian's life insurance policy, can I just state on there what I want to have done, or do I need to have a whole separate document that states what I want to have done? That's what
Yes.
I meant.
Yes,
Okay.
because when you apply for the life insurance, there is the part that will stipulate exactly how do you want to dispose and who is going to be responsible.
Okay.
Everything's going to be spelled out. It's going to be like a part of that life insurance as well.
Okay. Okay. That makes
Does that make
sense.
sense?
Yep,
I don't
it
want to
does.
confuse anyone.
No, I want it to be clear that
Mhm.
you definitely need to spell it all out, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, yeah, there will be a lot of questions asked, at the time of death, who's going to be responsible? Who's going to be the beneficiary? That's the first thing, right?
So tell me the name of your program because you gave me the flyer. I want you to tell us the
Oh,
name of
the
your
program
program.
is it's a final expense insurance, and it's underwritten by Security National.
So it's
Life
not
insurance.
Guardian.
Guardian is an agency that I
Okay.
worked out of. They are not an insurance carrier.
Okay.
You understand?
I do. I used to work in insurance for a lot of years, so yes, I get it.
Okay.
Hopefully everyone else,
They're an
if you guys
agency.
don't get it,
Yeah, they're an agency.
so you basically are finding companies to provide the specific things that people need,
Correct,
basically.
because I'm a
Okay,
broker. So what I
gotcha.
do, I contract with companies to
Mhm.
give me the products that I need for my clientele.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, so it can be clear, Guardian is an insurance agency based out of Puerto Vallarta. They are right here
Okay,
in Mexico.
okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, like for the health insurance, all of this business goes through them. Okay.
Okay, okay. So Dominga has a question. I know we're doing, I'm gonna ask these questions in between because it is relevant to the discussion. She said that Guardian doesn't cover New York residents. Do you have a final expense benefit, death benefit insurance to cover while living in Mexico? Yes, that's what we're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this plan is not for people who live in the United States. This is a plan that for people who live in Mexico,
Okay. So
correct?
let me explain.
Okay.
Let me explain. The companies that I represent, especially for the life insurance, we do not write insurance policies in New York. New York is a very hard state for insurance policies to be written there.
Okay.
All right. Uh, but I can write in any other states but New York for that specific final expense insurance program.
So stop for a moment. So if someone lives here full time, but they wanted to be sent to New York if they pass away, it doesn't
I will
cover it.
not be
It
able
wouldn't
to
be able to
write
do it.
that program at all.
Gotcha. Okay, now it's clear.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. New York is a special state.
So is it
I
only
can
the
do
state of New
California,
York?
I can do a bunch of other states, but New York, I'm out.
So is it only the state of New York that doesn't allow you to
Correct.
do this?
Yeah. New York is a
Okay,
special
so
state.
now I get it, Dominga. I wasn't sure what that meant. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so, all right, I won't even ask you, are there other companies that will do it? We'll just keep it moving. All right, someone says, do you sell term life policies?
I do sell the term life insurance, but if this is what they want to have. First of all, let me make the comparison between what is whole life and what is term.
Okay.
Term insurance is a life insurance that gives you protection for a period, a specific period of time. It's like renting. So it is cheaper than the whole life just because of that reason. You can do it for a period of 5 years, 10, 20 years, but
Okay.
it expires after that period of time. All
Okay.
right.
Right.
Whole life insurance is a total different type of program. It's a permanent life insurance that you can keep at the same price for the rest of your life. The premium never changes, it never expires. Whether you change age bracket, you bought it at 50 years old, you're now 60, still the same price. Price never changes. It also builds up cash value,
Okay.
right?
Right. And you can borrow
Usually,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
usually about 10 years into the program, not only that you get most of your premiums back, but it builds up more equity. And this cash value is available to you if you're in an emergency, you need to pull out cash out of the policy, you can do so. If you want to
Okay.
cash in the policy at a certain time, they will give you your cash value in exchange to get the policy back.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. But it is more expensive, the premium, right?
It is more expensive. However, what you're buying peace of mind, especially if you are at a certain age with certain health issues. Because what happens is that depending on the type of health issues that you have, the policy might be rated. Rated means that they ask you more money, or you might be declined altogether. The final expense insurance, life insurance, or have some knockout questions, okay, when we go over the health questions, but most people will qualify because
Okay.
those health questions that they ask that are knockout questions, they are really like, you've been declared that in 6 months, you're probably not going to be with us anymore. But most people, like if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, everything, if those are controlled, you're good. All right.
Okay.
So
So a question about that. They do like in the US, I know they do, in a physical exam or
no
sometimes
exam, no exam.
nothing?
No, the questions that we ask is that going to tell you if you qualify or not. As I said, there are a few questions that are knockouts. And then after that, you'd be surprised. We write people up to age 90.
Wow. Okay. How much does
Okay.
that cost?
Well, it depends. That's what I said. Uh, it depends on the need. $5,000 is the minimum, and it
Okay.
goes up to 50,000.
Is that 5,000 a year? Like
No,
when you
this
say
is the death,
5,000 coverage?
yeah, this is the
Okay.
death benefit.
Gotcha. All right. No, when I was
That's
asking about how much it costs, I was just, my brain stayed in that lane. But I wanted to ask you about that part because with, you know, with the exam, et cetera, like once you're locked in, is this the whole life
the whole life
plan?
insurance.
That's it. You're locked in until you die, correct?
If you want, I mean,
Okay.
when you say locked in, that means that you cannot get out. As I just explained
No, I
earlier,
mean like it doesn't end. Like, I have a
you got it
policy
for
that
life.
ends in 30 years.
You got it
So,
for life.
gotcha.
Let me reiterate again. At any time, if you want to get out of the program, remember, if you've been on the policy for quite a while, the cash value is there. You can cash in the policy and get your cash.
Right. Okay.
So you're not locked in.
Right.
You
No,
have the coverage
it's just a matter of
for
speaking.
for the rest of your life.
Uh-huh.
Not, I'm going to tell you, Michelle, most people who gets this insurance, their premiums are coming out directly from their Social Security, okay? Right from their checking account.
Okay. So do you find, and is this less expensive here in Mexico for kind of this benefit and coverage than it would be in the United States? I'm assuming it is. Or is it kind of the same?
I'm not aware of any company that are offering this program here in Mexico. The insurance
Okay.
carrier that I represent for the final expense that targets the expats, as I explained at the beginning,
Gotcha.
is
Gotcha.
based out of the United States.
Okay. So the premiums are based on what it would be basically because they're US companies,
Yeah.
right?
And
Okay, clear.
by the way, you need to have a US address in order for me to do
Right.
that
That makes
program.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Even though you're
Okay.
living in Mexico, and as I said, it doesn't matter if it's Mexico, Panama, Portugal, wherever they are, you need to have a bank account in the United States and an address in the United States.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay?
So someone wants to know what is the longest term policy that you offer?
Oh, for the long term, it could be, as I said, 5, 10, 15, 20, depending on your age. If you're under 50, I can do 30 years.
Okay.
And the minimum face amount would be 100,000.
Okay.
That's for the term.
Okay. All right. So that answers that. So continue on with the kind of like the description of the program itself
Right.
and
Okay.
coverage and things. Mhm.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a synopsis. The key takeaways on those are final expense insurance is a small whole life insurance policy that is very easy to qualify, as I was saying before. There are some knockout questions that most people will pass with flying colors. The beneficiaries of a final expense life insurance policy can use the policy's payout to pay for funeral service, casket, cremation, medical bills. That's another thing that a lot of people don't think about. If at the end of your life, you were in the hospital or you were in hospice, and then there are some bills that have accumulated, somebody's going to be responsible to pay for that.
Okay.
So
Right.
that's what this will do, pay out to pay funeral service, medical bills, nursing home bills, an obituary, flowers, and more. However, the death benefit can be used for any purpose whatsoever. The beneficiary gets it and then they do whatever they want with the money. But I'm just giving some suggestion to answer your question, how this would apply. Because a lot, even credit card balance, who's going to pay it? Okay,
Not the person who died.
for sure, for sure. So, and I said that before, the whole life policy also accumulates cash value that you can borrow against, all right, during your lifetime. Uh, Let me see what I can tell you here. All right. And I said also the insurance companies will issue final expense policies to people from 50 years old all the way up to age 85.
Okay.
Okay. One of the company that I represent goes to age 90.
Oh wow. Right, you did say that a bit ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
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 Uh, so one thing that I'd like to make clear, we are still talking about life insurance.
Right.
But with that life insurance program, which is the final expense, allow you to have an administrator that will take care of your final expenses, the disposition of the body, the transportation. It's all included in there. And
Okay.
in that policy, you will have all this spelled out the way you said you want it.
Okay. So you don't necessarily need a separate directive, or you do?
That's up to you. We're not telling you not to have. Some people may have a living trust. Uh, that's fine. But we're talking specifically not only about the proceeds of the life insurance, we're talking about taking care of the body.
Right. Okay.
See, that's the key to it.
Okay. So someone asked the question, it's the perfect time to ask. They said, how much does it cost to transport deceased back to the US? For instance, to California, an estimate is helpful. I don't know if
Well,
you have that.
I don't have that answer because this is a very specific question.
Right.
But what I'm going to tell you, once you sign up for the policy, the way that you're going to spell out what the way it should be done, that's how it will be done.
Okay.
Okay. And
And
then
it will be covered.
remember, prices varies. And that's another good question to ask because once you have your policy, you can even specify which funeral parlor that you want your body to go to. It will be in the country.
That makes sense.
Yep. So, but the price to pay for the transportation, for all of the services and the cost is already included in your premium.
Right.
They're not going to come 5 years later and send you a letter to say, due to the rising cost. No. Everything is
That's
already
it.
set.
Okay. So if it's 30 years from now, it's the same price.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good.
yeah.
So the premiums don't change
Premiums don't change.
for neither the whole or term, correct?
No, the term is only for the period of time
Right, of the term.
of the term.
But I mean, within the term, the
Yeah, it's a
price is not
level premium.
changing.
It's a
Right,
level premium.
gotcha.
However, the minimum that we are writing for term is $100,000.
Okay.
All right. They can go up to whatever amount that they want, but the minimum is 100,000.
Is that normal or is that like the average? Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Most companies nowadays they don't write term life insurance for less than 100,000.
Okay. That makes
And
sense.
and then another thing, the underwriting process will be a little bit more stringent than the yeah, because they will.
Why? Because it's so little or like what?
Okay, so the industry for life insurance in general, any policy that you buy at a certain age for 100,000 or more goes to what they call full underwriting.
Okay.
And then there, they're going to ask you all kind of questions. The last time you were in the hospital, why were you in the hospital, which doctors, what medication, everything must be disclosed. And then it
Okay.
goes to underwriting. And then if they need more information, they will write the agent to ask your client to provide more information. A lot of time it might be a physician statement that they need or something from the hospital you've attended. And then they need to approve the policy.
Okay.
Big difference with the funeral expense. Once you answer the questions, and I qualified you on answering the question, it's guaranteed issue. There is no underwriting that they're going to send. No, everything is set. You get your policy.
So you need a US bank account, correct?
Mhm. And an
And
address.
a US address.
Yeah.
So the
And that,
premiums
and
are
that
auto
excludes New
withdrawn,
York.
right?
That
Go ahead.
includes New York State.
Right.
'Cause
Excludes.
yeah.
Okay. Sorry, New York.
Sorry, dude.
Borrow an address from someone.
Right.
Use
Okay.
an
You said
address
it.
in another
You
place.
said
I
it.
did say it. I did. Michelle
Yeah.
said that. He didn't
Yeah.
say it. It was me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that this is good to know because some people, probably most people or a lot of folks will want to go back to the United States, even though they probably have their full, existence here. But a lot of times our family is back wherever our hometown was originally. So I think it's important for the coverage to exist and that the coverage covers the things you need to get you back to where you want to
Absolutely.
be. And I think
That
that that's
this
very important and crucial. And go ahead, I'll let you, because I want to
no,
say
I was going to
something, because,
say this is the part that is the most important to me. And I'm going to tell you with my wife, we each of us we got one. Okay. Because if something should happen, I don't want my kids to be worrying. What do I do? I don't know anything about Mexico. I don't speak the language, blah, blah, blah. They have a number. You call that number, and then that's it. That's it.
okay,
That's
so
all.
your
Because
family has the number,
absolutely, they need to be,
right,
somebody needs to be aware if something happens to you so that they can trigger the process of,
right,
disposing of your body.
right. No,
Absolutely.
no, all of that makes sense. So last year, the beginning of the year, I don't know if you know this or not, I created a kind of a first point of contact program for us here, and just for mostly San Miguel.
Yeah, I
Um,
saved it.
okay, so the point is that a lot of us live by ourselves, right? And I've seen a lot of incidences over the years that I've lived here where someone's body was found in their house. They felt like the last that I remember is someone fell down the steps and basically died. Probably suffered for a little bit. And then basically, when they discovered the person, it was just a mess. They didn't know
What to do?
what to do, what to look for, they didn't know anything about the family. So I want to just emphasize that it is super important that you also have that first point, not just your family, because there could be a few days that if you're not like in constant contact with someone in San Miguel, because although I know a lot of the people, even in the chat, I don't know your family, right? I don't know a number, nothing, right? I don't know your family. So, and I don't know someone that you would want us to contact. So I'm saying this to tell you to make sure that you also have that part in place so that, wherever it is, somebody knows that this is where my packet of directives happens to be, right?
So
One of the things I want to say this because I think this is a great idea and I had planned to implement it into my program, but I've decided that I'm not going to take on this responsibility, even though I have a few people in my program. Thank you for joining, but I want to say this as a something that you could do because my mom does this in the building that she lives in. And I thought it was a fantastic idea for all the seniors that live there. They literally put all of their information in one of those plastic folders that you close,
that's
and
what I was going to suggest.
they put it in the freezer. So it's always in the freezer and it's protected and you just tell someone where to find it and in there you tell people exactly what you want to do. So you tell someone that knows you, that is close to you, that you talk to or that you're in constant contact with. You have all your stuff together so if they find you somewhere in your home or wherever and they're not just stumbling around in your house. So make sure you have that clear because it's chaotic and it's going to be very chaotic for someone who's just your friend to try to sort through what you want or it's too much, right? So just be responsible for that. However you create the responsibility. I just want to say like these are the things that we want to talk about tonight and make sure that you're prepared. So go ahead, Alex.
Thank you,
Continue.
Michelle, for saying all that, because I was going to suggest that as well.
Mhm.
Now, there's another thing that I'm going to tell you. Your doctors here in Mexico always have their number
Yeah,
included in that package
exactly. Everything.
because your doctor has a lot of information about you.
Mhm.
Okay. So she could be of a great help in helping directing what to do with the body, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. So she will or he will have those information. So it's good to have the name of your doctor here in San Miguel or wherever you are in that package.
Okay.
Obviously, the number of contact in the US, if you're from the US, so that way it will be easy to contact your loved ones back home. So that's very important.
I agree 100%.
I
Like
mean, you can be
that
living,
package should have
yeah,
everything.
you can be living alone here, but please don't be completely isolated because
Correct.
by doing that, in the end, you might be hurting yourself as well. You know what I'm saying? Do not be
Yes.
completely isolated. Make
Yes.
sure that you keep a contact. A close family member, it could be a friend that you trust. At least keep a contact, specifically if you want to be back to the US.
Yeah. And also, I want to say this because I make sure someone can get in your house. Okay. Because if you live alone, make sure someone knows how to get in your house that you trust. However, they get in, give a key, whatever. I have several keys for several people. So, and no, I don't want any more keys. Don't ask me. I'm just saying that make sure you give a set of keys to someone that can access and get into your home, that kind of knows, the lay of the land. If you have a safe or something, make sure at least someone back in your home country, family, close friends, whatever, has access to be able to get in and get your stuff, because there's going to, more than likely, like in my case, I have my safe, I have all my stuff in there, right? But I have people that know how to get in there if something happens to me. So the point simply is that these are all the little things that when there's an emergency, it's chaos, it's chaotic, right? I'm sure some of us have had those experiences where even if you're prepared in the preparedness, that you still have a lot to handle, and it's just a lot. So being in this country, I think that it's really important for us to think about all the logistics of if something happens to me. I live in this secure condo building unit. Is it going to take them 3 days to get into your house? Who else has a key? Are they going to need permissions while you're in there, rotting away? And let's just keep it real, because that's what happens. And by the time all that happens and you get settled, it might take like another couple of days to get you to where you want to be, right? If it's okay, I'm staying in Mexico, I want to be cremated, or I want to be here, or I want my body to be sent back. So just kind of think about these details and like I said, put it somewhere, tell someone here that you trust where it is. There's nothing really that they're going to do with that, so just make sure it's all together. Nobody wants to go through your things trying to find information, and it's going to be probably a little complicated for family back home to try to come down here and figure that out for you, right? Some people may not even have a passport to come and get
Yeah,
you. So just
that,
saying,
yeah, yeah,
keep it
that's
real,
absolutely
right?
true, Michelle. Thank you for
Yeah.
bringing all this up. And then another contact that might be important too, if you have an attorney here in Mexico,
Yes.
okay? So
Yeah.
he may facilitate quite a bit being an attorney.
Right. I think
So,
it's important for people to understand that too.
right,
More questions. So,
yes.
someone wants to know, with the term policy of 100,000, does it include the arrangement and transport of the
Nope,
deceased from
nope,
Mexico?
nope,
Okay, a
not at
simple
all.
answer. Nope.
No,
Okay, and
the only,
can
let me say that the only way for you to get that combination of the life with the disposition of the body is to do a final expense program.
okay, so the life insurance is separate from the final expense program.
No, it comes together with your contract. The title is final expense, and the reason why they call it that because that's basically the purpose of getting that type of insurance.
Okay.
Right? So I want to make it clear as well. If someone already has life insurance, okay, and you have made all of your arrangement, like you have an estate planning or you have a living trust. Okay, I have a living trust, but I still have my final expense program because now I'm living abroad. All right, and I want this to be taken care of. So, so if you already have a life insurance that is enough for what you want to do, you do not need a final expense.
Okay, but the final expense program is kind of life insurance, or no, it's not. It's just covering the final expenses, correct?
Okay, I think I'm not explaining myself here. Okay,
Yes, start
so
all
so
over
let
from
me, let me
the
go over
very
that again,
beginning.
Michelle.
Okay.
Okay, the final expense program provides a life insurance, which is a permanent life insurance that you can keep until your death at the same price.
Right.
Now, when you get your policy, all of that I'm saying to you will be in that contract, on that policy. But the final expense program has another feature. It takes care of the disposition of your body wherever you are. It also becomes part of that program.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes. So it sounds to me like this is probably not the right word, like a rider, like you can add it
Okay,
on.
you can call it a rider.
Okay.
Yes. You can call it a
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I have life insurance, but if I wanted to take that, I could get it and it would go along with the things I need in regard to getting my body back to where I want to be 'cause, and the expenses. That's
yeah, but
pretty much
remember,
what
the
this.
question was if you get the term life insurance, does it comes with the final expense program to transport? And the answer is no.
Okay. The question was actually, do you get that for 100,000?
No.
Okay.
The minimum is 5,000, the maximum is 50,000.
Okay. For the
Final
final
expense
ben.
program.
Gotcha. Okay. And the insurance, life insurance and term life and whole is completely not unrelated, but it's a separate policy.
Yeah.
Correct?
And what I
Okay.
was saying is that you may have someone who has $200,000 life insurance, 500,000, whatever, and that they have already made all of their arrangements.
Right. So then
So
you
they're
don't need
good.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I just want to make sure I'm not here to just sell life insurance, but I'm here also to educate.
No, that's
Right.
exactly what we're
So
doing.
I don't want people
Exactly.
to think, well, I'm kind of confused. I have a 200,000 life insurance. Do I need that life insurance that Alex is talking about? It depends. If you already made arrangement for the transport of your body, everything is taken care of, and that 200,000 life insurance is going to take care of everything, then you're good to go.
Okay, I have a really important question though. If you have life insurance in the United States and you started there, like, does it affect you if you no longer live there and you live here? They
Absolutely
still
not.
cover, so you need to make sure that whatever your life insurance covers, that it covers you getting back. Because not, do they all do that?
No,
Okay, so that's important. So this is what this program is.
no,
Gotcha. All
no.
right, that's
Only
smart marketing.
Yeah,
Get the
only the
expats.
final expense program, as you said, because it's a good insurance term,
Right,
it has a rider that takes care of your body uh,
right.
repatriated.
Very clear. That makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is
Um,
why they have it as a minimum, because as I was saying earlier again, most people would qualify. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to go to underwriting like for the one for the 100,000 or more, because it's full underwriting when you do that kind of policy. You got to be generally in fairly good health.
right.
Okay. So, because if you have a lot of health issues, usually three different health issues or more,
You're not going to
you
probably
would
get it.
not qualify.
Okay.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
talking about now the term life insurance over
Understood.
100,000.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any point if you said, I want a $500,000 policy that you have to get a physical exam?
Oh, over 100,000, you have to get a physical.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
under
And
100,000, just questions.
right, like
Okay.
the final expense. We don't have a program. Insurance carriers, I don't care if it's the New York Life, John Hancock, when you go term, it's huge face amount. It's 100 or more. They don't write 25,000, 50,000.
Okay.
All right. So and
Okay, that makes sense.
that's why those face amount on the funeral expense is on the lower side, because as I said, up to 90 years old can qualify. Of course, the older you are, the premiums are more expensive. And it may not be worth it for 90-year-olds to sign up for it, because they, first of all, they may not want to afford that premium. And second of all, uh, it might be a loss for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you
because
know, from an age standpoint, you're closer to death. So it's kind of like they don't want to pay out. That's really what it comes down to.
well,
Because no,
starting,
because like why not? If it's a death benefit, it's a
right.
final,
Yeah, I
yeah.
get your point, but remember, life insurance is taking a risk, and the risk is
Mhm.
higher as you get older.
Correct.
The best time to buy life insurance in the insurance industry, that's what we said. It's always today.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, but
this is
but
the
you know what I mean.
cheapest
I'm just
time
saying that to
to buy
me
life
it's
insurance is always today because
right.
somebody who's 40 years old buying a $50,000 policy compared
Mhm.
to somebody who's 70 years old, it's going to be a
Correct. Because they
huge
have less
difference.
time to basically
Not less
use the.
time, the risk is higher.
That's what I'm saying. The
Uh,
risk, even to have the premiums, is higher because if, at 40, chances are you're going to be able to get 30 years or so worth of premium as opposed to 10 or 5 or 2. So that makes sense. I get it. It is totally today. And I think it's good that we're having this conversation because I remember being in my 20s and I was like, oh, what do I need that for? Outside of my age or something tragic. And it
right.
was so much less expensive, clearly. And yeah, as soon as I got to the 50 threshold, it was like,
Take a
you're in a
shot.
whole nother bracket. So
Yeah.
the point simply is that you should get this and hold on to it. And even better yet is get the whole life because that is going to be beneficial. I think it's more beneficial. Yeah, I wish I was more educated about that,
Two main things.
20 years ago.
Two main things. The whole life is permanent. You never have to
Mhm.
worry about it. The second thing is that if you're doing the final expense,
Mhm.
you know that all of your disposition is taken care of.
Mhm.
Your part of the bargain is to pay the premium and to let someone know when something happens so they can call the company so they can trigger the process. That's it.
Okay.
It's
Right.
complete peace of mind.
Yes. I think that that's good to know and to understand how it works. Because maybe if you've never purchased life insurance, depending on your age, didn't feel you needed it, whatever the case might be, to really do the homework on it, even though the premium is higher, you're kind of investing in something you can actually get money out of at a later date versus term. So I have a question because someone wants to know, is it possible to have two um, let me see, it was Dixie. To have two
Life insurance
policy.
policies, yes, you
Mhm.
can have as many as you want. This is
Okay.
one of the insurance that you can stock up. No
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there answers that. Someone wanted to know what's the average cost to cremate. I don't think you know that in Mexico, but maybe you do.
I don't want to throw prices. I'm not in that business of cremation,
Right.
but it depends what you want. But I would say, when my mother passed away, she wanted to be cremated. So, but that was a few years ago. Okay, it wasn't in Mexico. It was in the United States.
Well, I'm
So,
going to ask while someone, but I'm listening while we talk about this. Maybe I can get an answer. Uh-huh.
so it depends what you're looking at, what kind of urn. When you go to the funeral parlor, they may suggest a bunch of different packages to you, but I'm going to say it's probably going to be way under $2,000. Depending on what you're looking for.
You're
Okay,
talking about here in Mexico, correct?
in the United States, I don't know for Mexico. I have
Okay.
no idea for Mexico
Okay. I'm asking.
because you got Michelle. When you get there to the funeral parlor, they're going to propose you different package.
Right.
Okay, so it depends what kind of package, but they may have package that are like $600, $800. It depends
And it
what you're.
depends on the state you're in, because for my father, um, you know, we did this. just a few months ago, and they did have a lot of packages, and then the packages include different things. It kind of depends, like if you're having a service, they can make the program, they do prayer cards, you can embalm, all these things. They ask you a lot of questions if you want to have the body for the funeral itself, and then afterwards you cremate. The box, and I call it a box that they put the body into, can be like a regular real casket. They have rental caskets that they put the body into if you're cremating. It's a whole thing, right?
Yeah, that's
But I
relatively
think it
pretty
cost
pricey.
us for like the medium package, maybe wasn't the base, but like the medium to higher end package. It was a couple $1,000s, I want to say, but it wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be. It was maybe 2,500, but that was in Cali. Here, I'm not sure. We'll see if I get an answer back, and we'll get back to that.
Right. I did not investigate here in Mexico, and I apologize for that. However, you were right. That's, depends what you're looking for, but you could figure anywhere from 8 to 2,500, I guess, 3,000, depending what you're looking for.
I
Okay.
know here it's probably a lot less, and it seems like a much faster process. And I think that's culturally, it's faster because they don't have like funeral parlors where the body hangs out for as long as you want to pay for it. It's culturally the way death and funeral and the whole process happens here. It's almost a 24-hour thing. So I want people to also be aware of that. If you decided I'm staying in Mexico, I am going to, have this as my final resting grounds, to make sure that you do just what someone asked about an attorney, and you have an attorney here that's also executing what your wishes are. And I want to also emphasize that your wishes in English don't count. Okay, you have to make sure it's translated and certified translated by someone who has the permissions to translate that to Spanish, okay? Because they're not going to follow your instructions in English. So make sure if you have your directives that you take all of that paperwork to a certified translator and have it stamped and sealed that this is what you want and that it's in Spanish. Otherwise, it won't. The government's going to decide probably for you, okay? Unless the insurance company comes in and there's some other thing that comes and takes you. But if you want to be here in Mexico and those are your wishes, you got to make sure that they can read it. Just wanted to emphasize that. But having an attorney here is a good idea. My attorney here, I asked him, I didn't have him do this for me because I had someone else do this paperwork and everything. But I asked him how much he would charge for estate planning. This price that he gave me was more for people who own property here. So not necessarily someone who has a rental and furniture or things. It was approximately $1,000. I think it was 20,000 pesos. So whatever that comes out to, it's a little bit more than 1,000 now because we're not, our dollar isn't as strong. So that's just something that you need to think of if you own land, property, just making sure that it's clear, because you don't want the government to kind of come in and take over. And I think if you don't have it spelled out and it's not deeded correctly within a certain amount of time, that the government has some kind of rights to this property. So don't quote me on that. Hire a professional, but this is what I've heard. And the third party hearing things isn't always clear. Hi, Carol. Welcome. How are you? And welcome to everyone. Vanessa, Rosalind, our family Exodus, everyone that's here aging gratefully. I kind of been just saying welcome in the chat to everyone. Thank you for coming. Yes, if you have more questions, please go ahead and drop them. Is there any other details you want to tell us that's really
Well,
important?
I want to leave everybody with uh, some takeaways on that type of policy, which is the funeral expense insurance program. And there are bullet points that I have printed out before. that I
Okay.
wanted to just, there are not too many. First of all, those policies are affordable because of the
Okay.
lower premium, a lower face amount.
Mhm.
Easy to qualify because it doesn't go to full underwriting, as I have explained before. Okay.
Mhm.
When we go over the medical questions, I
Mhm.
will do the underwriting. That it will
Okay.
tell me automatically whether you qualify or not, because
Okay.
they do have a few knockout questions.
Okay.
All right. So the premiums, they never increase. All right.
Mhm.
Uh, the death benefit will not decrease automatically. Whatever you signed up for, uh, that's what you will get. The face amount remain the same throughout the life of the policy.
Mhm.
Uh, and then the beneficiaries, they can use the death benefit for any purpose.
Okay.
Uh, the death benefit is guaranteed as long as the premiums are paid. And it does say if you don't have a term policy. That's the key thing in this, because
Can you
term
repeat that? You said it doesn't what?
and you don't have a term policy.
Okay.
Because if you have a term policy, always remember it's only for that period of time.
Mhm.
That's a huge difference between a permanent life insurance,
Mhm.
okay, which is the funeral expense program,
Right.
because it's permanent. All right. And the other bullet is that I have here. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Now, the proceeds are not taxable. That's very important.
Okay.
The beneficiary will receive the proceeds from the life insurance. It's not taxable. They don't have to declare it in their filing of income taxes. It's free
Okay.
of taxes.
Okay.
All right.
How
And
long
then,
does it take to give you to get a check? And how does that work?
okay, so again, I went through that with my mom. So once you have the death certificate, that's what the insurance carrier needs to have in order to pay the proceeds. But I want to tell you that will not stop them once you have called and tell them that the insured has passed away to put in action the disposition of the body. All of this is going to be taken care of.
Okay.
So the insurance carriers, they require a certified death certificate. Okay. So that's what they need to have.
One question, and I know you were doing your bullet list, so I want you to go back to that, but I'm also, I want you to continue what they need to have, but I wanted to say, how much time does it take, do you know, to get a death certificate, certified death certificate in Mexico? Is it like because other things take a long time. Just
I have
curious.
no idea.
No? Okay. All right.
I
Carry
would
on.
have to make a research on that. But
That's okay.
let me tell you, I know in Mexico everything is different. But if they want to dispose of the body right away, I would assume that you can get a death certificate pretty fairly soon.
Yeah,
That's what I'm.
I think you get it from yes, it is quick because the turnaround, it's a horrible word. The process is quick. And yes, it just hit me because that's what happened last week. It was literally a 24-hour, and the death certificate actually comes from the doctor who declared this person is deceased. Okay, carry
Thank
on.
you for
Yeah,
giving me that information.
yeah.
So that shouldn't be a problem. Once they get the death certificate, uh, then they're going to contact the beneficiary, or the beneficiary needs to contact the insurance company. When they call, that initial call that you do, they're going to ask all of those information. They're going to go on their computers and pull out and say, oh, are you the beneficiary? Are you Michelle? Are you Alex Dupuy? They're going to verify who's calling.
Okay.
Okay. And if it's the beneficiary, they will tell them exactly what they need to do and how they want the money to be disbursed. Uh, it can be done different methods. If you want it to be direct deposited, if you want it to be sent express to you, however you want, they will send.
Okay. Okay, so it's not a long process.
It is not. Usually, I would say a week or two.
Okay, okay, okay. So in regard to sending a body back to the US, what does that look like time-wise?
Oh, especially in Mexico, they don't want the body to be lingering around in the
Yeah,
hospital or in the morgue. So it's going to happen pretty quickly. Pretty
okay.
quickly. I would say it would be anywhere between 24 to 72 hours.
Oh, so that efficient. So even like, yeah, I'm all down to the details. If you're in San Miguel, like where do they take you? Querétaro Airport
Oh, yeah,
or
usually American,
Leon?
let me tell you, American Airlines are usually as a cargo plane that does that service. Uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's good
It
to
may be
know.
another airline, but I know for the United States, they do have that.
Okay,
So as I said, that's the thing that we're taking out of you to worry about. It's the
right.
company that's going to take care of make all of the arrangements. You don't have to get in even to get involved.
Involved in.
Nope.
Okay. So just call that number
And that's
and
it.
someone calls that number and that's it.
That's it.
Okay, this is another question. You call the number, do they speak English? That's in the US,
It's going to
right?
be in the United States.
And then they have someone who can communicate everything in Spanish on this side,
Yeah,
correct?
I'm going to tell you,
Okay.
most of the insurance carriers now in the claims department, the death claim department,
Uh-huh.
they have people who speak different languages. And now
That makes sense.
Spanish is not an issue.
Okay.
Okay? Spanish
Okay.
is definitely not an issue. So if they need to talk to someone down there, yeah, choose
Okay.
me.
Do they embalm the body before leaving Mexico? You might not know that.
That I don't know. It depends. It depends what how they want the but they can prepare it just for the travel.
Right.
So once it gets to the funeral home, this is when whatever that they have stipulated how they want the body to be disposed. If you want cremation or what have you, that's what will be done.
What if you wanted to be cremated, but you want your cremated body to be sent to the US? Will they do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to stipulate all that. It's going to be done here in the United States.
In
And then we're talking
Mexico.
about the ashes to be sent to the US.
Right. Right. Cremated in Mexico, send the ashes to the United States.
Yeah,
Okay.
that can be done.
Okay.
As I said, the mode that you want to be disposed is going to be all spelled out in
Correct.
that part of the application that takes care of the disposition of the body. And whatever you
So,
put there, that's how they're going to
okay. So with the list, did we finish that? The bulleted
almost.
list? Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was at the
I
death.
didn't want to forget. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that the death benefit is not taxable. All right. And you can buy a policy with a death benefit up to $50,000 from 5 to 50
When you say 5,000 to
to 50,000.
50,000. Okay. All right. Okay.
To be
That's
clear,
good to know.
this is the face amount. This is the amount that would be paid out to the beneficiary.
Right.
Okay.
Right. For your funeral, end of life
You can use
expenses,
the money
whatever.
however you wish.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the other one of the bullet points.
Okay.
The
And,
beneficiaries has full access to the money we sent to them, and then they use it however they wish.
and that does not end. That policy doesn't end.
No,
Once you're accepted, you're in it until you, as long as you keep
absolutely.
paying
That
the
was one of my
premium.
bullet point.
Okay. I think that bullet point went over my head. But just want to make sure I understood it. Okay,
Death
that sounds
benefit,
good.
that was the one we go. Death benefit is guaranteed as long as the premiums are paid and you do not have a term policy.
Gotcha.
It's a little bit confusing because they included the term there, but there's a reason for it. And that's the
What's
one that I've explained that the term policy is for a period of time.
right?
Okay, so if you have a term policy, it's going to expire. And they're
Mm,
saying the funeral expense will never expire. It will never, it's a guaranteed policy until you pass away.
okay, correct. Right, that makes sense.
Permanent.
Right, okay, because it's separate. It's a separate thing. So
Yeah.
as long as you get in
Yeah.
and whatever the cost is, it's between 5,000 to 50,000. That's the maximum, correct?
For the funeral expense,
For the
correct.
funeral expense part, and you stay in there, you pay your
Yeah.
premium, you're good for life. Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What else do you want to tell us, Alex?
Well, I was hoping that at this time, you did start taking questions. Anybody who has any questions or is confused about what we have been talking about,
Yeah,
I would
ask.
love to clarify.
Yes, ask away. I know we have a little bit of a delay on our conversation to YouTube, but this is fantastic information. I think that it's very important for people. So I'm going to put your contact in the chat for
Yeah,
anyone
please do it.
that.
That's what I was going to say. Anybody who has any questions, they can contact me. It's not because you're contacting me that you're going to purchase that program. It's okay.
Right,
Because at this point and at my age, I'm not really looking as to I got to sell more life insurance. No, I'm here to educate, and if I could be of service, I will be more than happy to help you out to meet your needs because everybody's got different needs now.
correct. Let me just say US number on this. And this is a number they can get you on WhatsApp and direct. That
Yes,
number you gave me, WhatsApp and
that's
direct.
239-495-1232. This is
Okay,
the US number. I do have a number here in Mexico. But as I was saying to Michelle earlier, not too many
it doesn't
people are
matter.
calling me on that number.
Yeah, no,
So,
this is fine. This is
yeah,
fine. One number is enough. We don't want to confuse things.
okay.
Okay, someone's, hi Dixie. She's asking when your term in insurance expires, do they pay it out to you?
You got to die. Term insurance is pure death benefit. It doesn't do anything else but paying when you pass away. There is no cash build-up. And that's what I was saying at the beginning. It's just like renting. Okay, so when you're renting, you're paying. When you leave the house to go somewhere else, you don't get
That's
anything
it.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's worth it to do the whole if you can afford it because you at least have some cash value. I don't know what the percentage is, the ratios, anything like that. It
you
does
would
cost more. Oh, you know what I wanted to say? Sorry, hold that thought because I have term and they send me whole life options all the time. So I did inquire about this and yeah, I think it's a great idea. But you can also reduce, at least for my company, you can reduce your term life, or that was an option to reduce my term and use some of that money for whole.
absolutely.
Let's talk about that. I feel
Okay,
like
so let's
maybe we can
because I did that.
okay.
Yeah. I had a $200,000 policy
Mhm.
for 20 years. Believe it or not, time goes fast.
Yes, yes,
So
snap.
close to the 20th year, I know it was going to expire. So I called the insurance carrier. First of all, I need to tell you, when you have higher face amount, you usually want it whether to pay off a house, a mortgage, or if you have small children, if you were to pass prematurely, so that money can be used for their education.
Right.
Both of my kids are well grown up, well off on their own. So I didn't need all of that coverage anyway. So what I did, I reduced that 200 to a $50,000 permanent whole life insurance.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so
Right.
that 50,000 is there. And again, to answer the question that can you have different life insurance? Of course you can. I've got about maybe four or five, all right,
Okay. Okay.
with different amounts. Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, so you can that, and I'm sure that's probably what they're offering to you now. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, and if you are on the sideline, whether you should do it or not, really give it a thought, Michelle, because as I said, the cheapest day to buy life insurance is
Is
always
today.
today. So
I know. But I just think that it's really sad that they don't educate, well, I'll say they, a lot of companies don't educate you on the different options and why it's more beneficial, especially when you're first signing on. I got life insurance. I've had life insurance like pretty much my whole life, but I got better life insurance because of the reasons that you just said. When I had my kid, I was like, okay, I need to do this. So I've had it for over 12 years.
right.
And this particular one that I'm talking about. And I just feel like it's important to understand the benefits of both and or the non-benefits of, like you said, once your kids are grown, do you really need to leave them
Yeah,
a million
because you're only
dollars?
manning yourselves. If
Right.
you don't have any dependent children, then you're only caring for yourself and your wife. Okay, so if you have everything in place, then you don't need all that coverage anymore. Okay,
Okay, right. Right. So I think that if your children, as they are getting older, it's probably not a bad idea to start thinking about how can you get a policy that actually can benefit you from a cash value standpoint, and that's what whole life insurance does. So look
exactly.
into it a little
It's a
bit more.
permanent policy that
Mhm.
actually, I'm going to use your word, locks in the premium.
Exactly.
Like a mortgage rate, you
Right.
lock in the premium for life.
Okay, correct. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So someone's asking, I'm sorry, Rhonda, welcome. If I still don't get it, it says any recommendations for primary care dentist, OBGYN, thanks. And I don't know if she's
Okay, so
talking
now
about
we're going
insurance
into,
coverage, just
yeah, we're talking about
medical.
health insurance.
Okay,
Okay,
health insurance.
so health insurance, these are private health insurance that I offer here.
Right.
So you actually can go to any doctors that you want. Okay,
Okay.
so they don't have like a network, like an HMO,
Mhm.
a health maintenance organization,
Mhm.
like we have in the United States. It's point of service. It's a POS program. You can choose any doctor or any hospital that you want here.
Okay.
All right.
So right. So it's not like in network, out network. You gotta get
Yeah.
qualified, none
Yeah.
of
It's
those things.
private health insurance.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you, you'd be surprised. Depending on the age,
Mhm.
uh, I have put people on program here that are less than if they were in the United States for the health insurance. Okay.
Yeah, not,
And they're
yeah.
good programs. You can choose, excuse me, you can choose
Mhm.
the deductible that you want, you
Right.
know, 2,500, 5,000, up to $10,000.
Okay.
And then you
What,
pay 100% after that.
yeah, what's I gonna say in regard to like the doctors and things like, I mean, how does it work? Do you pay out of pocket and we get reimbursed, or do you just give them a card at the hospital if you have an emergency? How does the
So
process work?
that's an excellent question.
Mhm.
So what needs to be done? The main important thing is for you to have your doctor here in Mexico.
Okay.
Once you have your doctor,
Mhm.
then at least with my doctor, I don't know how other doctors, my doctor is right here at the Mark Hospital. Okay.
Okay.
So she just took all of my information,
Mhm.
insurance, health issues, everything. So she's got everything on the computer.
Mhm.
So anything major that happens, I call my doctor. She'll send out the ambulance. She'll send out, my wife needed to do some tests. She sent out the tech, medical tech. They came right
Mhm.
here and they did the test.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And believe it
Mhm.
or not, it's not that expensive. You know,
Mhm.
40, 45, 50. That's what you pay for the visit.
Mhm.
So uh, now, if you have to go to the hospital, you
Mhm.
need to call my agency because
Mhm.
the Guardian Insurance Agency has a
Mhm.
claim department 24/7,
Ah, okay.
and they take care of it. Just like I was talking about the funeral expense.
Mhm.
Once you call, they're going to ask you what hospital, where are you, blah, 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 blah. Get some
Mhm.
information, and then they
Mhm.
take care of it to contact the insurance carrier so that they can get everything approved so that the hospital uh, can release you. Because I've heard some horror stories here that if you cannot pay cash, some other time they don't release the patient. I don't know
Okay.
if you heard that, Michelle, but I heard stories like,
Um, I've heard like probably I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine that they like confine you to a room if you can actually get up and walk out. But then again, I don't know. Hopefully, we don't have to find out. Just be prepared if you
right,
can. I know that sometimes insurance falls through the cracks, especially in the United States, because it's expensive and people can't always afford it and they take their chances. I get that. I totally understand that. But I think it's important to understand too that here, the care is more affordable. So you're saying basically the answer to the question is if you're at the hospital, you call your doctor, an emergency situation, and then they will contact the insurance company, and then everything will be kind of handled. You don't have to pay out of pocket and get
correct,
reimbursed. Okay.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
All right.
So if you are, uh, if I am your agent,
Mhm.
and then such a situation arises, you call me so I can call for you the claim
Mhm.
department, or if you want to call direct, you will have the number if you're a policy holder anyway, because it
Okay.
will show emergency,
Mhm.
contact this number. And
Mhm.
then you call it in, or if you call me as your agent, I'll be more than happy to assist you with that. And then from there, they will take care of the hospital with the company so that you don't have
Mhm.
to worry about money, anything.
Okay. All right. So someone asked, she said, I'm 70 years old. Would it be hard for me to get health insurance? She has Medicare and as her primary, and she said she has a secondary, I guess.
Right. Okay, so I'm not sure which secondary she has because
Mhm.
for hospital, it's whether the Advantage plan that she's probably talking about. All right. So one thing that I need to make sure that people realize, if you are on Medicare, most insurance companies on the Advantage part of the Medicare, okay,
Mhm.
will pay only in case of emergency.
Right.
Okay, so if it's a real emergency, they will pay the hospital.
Okay.
But if you're going just because you have an elective surgery that you wanted to do and it's cheaper here for you to do it, whatever, blah, 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 they're not going to pay for it. It's got to be an emergency.
Emergency. Okay. Okay. So is it, I mean, would it be difficult for her to get insurance here if
No,
she,
health
okay.
insurance that I represent issues policy up to age 85.
Okay. All right. So basically, as long as you don't fail those three questions and
That
get
was
kind of bumped
that
up
was that was
for
for
the
the
death.
life insurance.
Oh, okay. What about for the
The
health?
medical insurance, let me tell you how the underwriting is.
Okay.
They do not decline anyone.
Oh, all right.
What they do is they can exclude a specific illness, whether for the life of the policy or for a
Mhm.
period of time.
Okay.
Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So in other words, let's say that someone had breast cancer. They might go back, and the first thing they want to know if you're in remission.
Okay.
All right. So if you are currently getting treatment, then what they're going to do is completely exclude that illness. It will
Okay.
not be part of the coverage at all,
Okay.
but you'd be covered for other things, everything else.
Okay. So
Okay.
it's kind of like a pre-existing conditions don't, maybe aren't covered, depending on what it is.
It depends on what it is.
Mhm.
Because let's say that someone has diabetes, right? And is being
Mhm.
controlled. And then something happened that you need to go and have a medical treatment done, they will pay.
Mhm.
But I'm talking about an illness that could be threatening as cancer, then there will be an exclusion if you are currently getting treatment. If you are in remission, depending on the company, it might be 2 years, 3 years, up to 5 years. After
Okay.
that, it's covered.
Okay. Okay. She's asking how much would it cost? I kind of feel like that's a question for the questionnaires and directly to you
Okay,
because
so
it
again,
does it depend on like your age and different
correct.
questions?
It's based
Okay.
upon age and it
Mhm.
depends which program. Now, if she's interested, she can contact me and I will
Okay.
send her a proposal that
Okay.
will give her different options that I can go over with her so she
Okay.
can choose which plan will fit her the best.
Okay. I'm rewriting your number here. All right. So Carol, you can contact Alex directly. I had it above, but I don't know if you saw that 495.
It did not appear on my screen.
Get you.
Uh, uh,
It's in the chat. I don't know if you can see the chat.
okay,
US
okay.
number.
Oh, okay.
And his email is here, so you can reach out and kind of get your own quote based on
Yeah.
your needs.
Yeah, the coverage is going to be tailored to her specific needs.
Right.
Excuse me.
Okay. All right. So I re-put it in the chat, your phone number and the email, so you can contact Alex and, it's going to be based on, yeah, your health and
Yeah,
age and things like this.
as I was saying at the beginning, I will do the intake so we can get all of the information and then submit it to the company. And
Right.
then they come back with the proposal. They're pretty good at that. Usually it takes less than 8 hours.
Okay.
They send out the proposal. So
Okay.
it's not something that's going to take too long.
Okay. Perfect. So here we are at an hour and a half. We talked about this. I think that if you all have more questions, to directly reach out to Alex. He and I have had many of conversations, very thorough, super helpful. Definitely knows insurance, and I'm glad that you are here physically in San Miguel and you're in the community here because I have other people that I've worked with which are also very good, but I think it's important to have someone who kind of understands like how the insurance works in the United States versus how it works in Mexico. For example, Carol's question about Medicare versus getting coverage here and having a backup
So
secondary policy. So, and you can converse with him clearly and understand what your needs are and what's possible for you. I think the information in regard to kind of like the end of life planning is important, but also something that we needed to talk about. So I'm happy that you have that program. I know that there's another program that they're still trying to get pushed through from a health standpoint. So do come back and let us know when that's approved.
absolutely.
I
It's
think that that's going to
currently
be
in
great.
Puerto Vallarta and it's working very well. But
Okay.
as you know, in Mexico, things takes time.
That's right. Snail
And
pace.
they are trying to get it approved here for
Mhm.
San Miguel, but it's not here yet.
When you say
So
San Miguel, you mean like just this area, the city, or like the
yeah, because
entire
it's connected with the
state of
local
Guanajuato?
hospital. It's a program
Oh,
that is connected with the local hospital, and then they're
okay.
trying to get it with Mac, but God knows how long is this going to take. So I don't want to. When I learned about it, they sent out a flyer to all the agents, but it did not mention that it was only in Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, I remember you told me about it,
Yeah.
and I said, "Oh, this
So
is great."
yeah,
And then we had to kind of pause that
yeah, I
announcement.
was so
So,
excited. I said, "Oh my God, this is great."
yeah,
So, and then in the evening, when I inquired more information about it, they said, "Oh no, this is only for Puerto Vallarta." I said, "Oh,
right. So
big
I think,
deception."
right. Well, yeah, if they're probably doing a beta to see how it goes.
Oh,
I do
absolutely.
think it's super important because there's a huge expat population here in San Miguel, and it's continuing to grow. I mean, every time I talk about what that population looks like in terms of the foreigners, we always say 10 to 12,000. I am 100% sure it's a lot more than that because those were the numbers that were thrown at me 4 or 5 years ago. And here we are, I'm 60, here in San Miguel. I'm sure there are a lot more people, and I think it's very smart of those companies in the US to target people that are living here because most people are coming here to never leave again. So it's important to have those coverages that we understand how they work, the dynamics of them, that it's clear to us to have these conversations and for people to seriously make sure that, they've dotted their I's and crossed their T's and all of that, and making sure that people that their loved ones know what exactly it is that they want to have happened. It happens, right? That's inevitable, right?
Right.
We're all gonna
So
die.
the last thing
So,
I want to let everyone know, first of all, I want to thank you, you, Michelle, and the audience that are showing some interest and are not afraid to talk about end of life situations. Because for my 37 years, I'm going to tell you, I have a lot of people that try to avoid this kind of conversation. So don't be afraid of it because it's part of life as well. Because you were born, but you're going to have to go at some point.
yeah, it is. It is. And
Yeah,
I wanted to acknowledge someone earlier was saying how, it was Kimberly, it's important because she said her mom died a year ago, and everyone, people are in their emotional feelings. So things really should be spelled out in writing where it is. Everyone knows it's clear. I've had this conversation
I
with
totally
even
agree.
my parents, my siblings, and you're right, Alex. They don't, they aren't handling their stuff. And I've gotten to a place for myself where I'm like, I'm responsible for me and how I present and handle my situation, or if I pass, how it affects my kid, and that's all I can control.
Right,
So you can talk to whomever, but you are in charge of your own stuff, right?
right.
So I think it's important that you take that serious, and
Yeah,
otherwise
because
maybe decisions are going to be made that you don't want,
right,
and you won't have any say over
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Because Michelle, I'm going to tell you, a lot of times, siblings and other family members have different ideas on how to dispose of one's body. And I'm going to tell you, it's not a picnic. It's sometimes it gets pretty ugly and
Ugly.
nasty.
Yes.
So
Yep.
by you uh, taking this burden off of your loved ones, it's it's a big relief because they
Exactly.
know that something happens, they have to make a phone call, and then everything is going to be taken care of. They're
Great.
not going to be fighting, oh, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. Nah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's absolutely right.
It's
Guys,
important.
I again thank you. I'm
Yes.
there for you. And one thing that I want to leave you guys, I'm 73 years old and I'm a Medicare recipient. Yay!
Yay.
So I know a lot about Medicare. Uh, I don't know everything about Medicare, but I know enough because I am a Medicare recipient. So is my wife. We're here for you. I'm here for you. It's not like how would I say that the aggressive agents that we all have experienced in the United States. I'm here, I'm relaxing, I'm enjoying San Miguel. I'm not under any pressure, but I'm here for you. You
Yes.
call, contact me. I will give you answers. If I do not know the answer, I will go and research it for you or refer you to an expert. Okay?
Exactly. And I want to back that up because in our former conversation, we talked about that. We talked a lot about medical. I asked you, because I didn't know the Guardian provided travel insurance, and you did. You
Absolutely.
referred me to someone, and it was super easy.
Right.
I also use them for my business insurance for my
Right.
property. And so I just want to say that, they've been uber professional. I know they're out of Puerto Vallarta, but they do, in this particular coverage, they cover all of Mexico. And the process was very, very simple, very straightforward online, filled out some things. I think I spoke to someone, they kind of wanted to know if what they read was clear and what it was just thorough. I felt very confident, made the payment, done, and
Yep.
also very affordable,
Yes.
especially comparing it to like US pricing and things like that. So I highly recommend Alex's services and his know how. If you're interested in finding out more, feel free to contact him directly. I will make sure that if you're watching this on the replay, that his contact and everything is in the description. So if you need it and you don't follow the chat, that you can find it there.
And
And
also on my
anything
Facebook
else.
page, if they go on my
That's right.
Facebook page,
You can find him at
all my
Alex.
informations are in there. And then from now and then,
Here.
I put this week a little article regarding Social Security.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I thought it was very informative for people who are going to be getting into Social Security at the age of 64, 65. It gives a lot of information. So take a time, take a look at it, and it's very informative.
Perfect.
So again,
Anything
thank you
else?
so much, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
to
you
the
all.
audience.
Yes.
Contact me if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to assist you. Okay?
Yes. And don't forget to hit the like if you're still here. Please do that. Subscribe if you haven't, share. If you are interested in coming to San Miguel, you haven't been here, you've been following us, we, we're here. A whole group of us, a whole bunch of people are here. I have my guest house, Casa Elm. I did mention that earlier. Casa Elm in San Miguel is a space for the soft landing experience. I want to say this because it keeps coming up. I want to emphasize that we are here to help you figure out, one, if you want to move to San Miguel. As much as we love and we shine on the city that is amazing, doesn't mean every single person is going to like it. I think it's very important for you to come and experience it, come and try it on, come and stay here. It makes it so much easier for you to be integrated into the community. We really kid glove our guests. I wanted to say that because I met with a beautiful woman today, and we just like really connected. We did an in-person consultation, and I was kind of thinking about the experience that she's having, and that maybe she would have had a little bit kind of more settling experience, being in this space, wanting the connections and things like that. It's not, like Alex said, it's not about trying to sell you a bill of goods. It's really what I see and what I observe. And this space really is to help you figure out, is this for you? It helps you transition easier. I have had repeat people who came just to check it out, came for relocation tour, came as a guest or as a visitor, whatever it was, and then decided, you know what, I want to come back and I do want to stay here. And a lot of folks have come and they stayed for a long period of time, when I say long, like 2 to 4 weeks, until they find their space. So, this is what we do. It's a small community. So I know Alex, I know a lot of the people that are in the chat. A lot of them are my clients, or at least spent time through, consultations and or through Casa Elm. I just want to kind of like say that this is what we're here for, right? To make this experience easier for you. So, go to my website, casaelm.com, and check out all of the events and services and everything. It's there for a reason. And my team that works with me, they're amazing. They're there to help, make this whole process better. So just want to say that. And thank you all for being here as usual. Please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and also notification bells if you haven't done that. And if you haven't subscribed on my website, go to the website, sign up for our weekly newsletter. We always put information about who's coming, who's our guest, blogs, information about San Miguel, and just my own personal experiences in living here as well. So that's it, folks. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you, Alex. And we'll probably have you back.
Thank you to the audience.
Thank
Hope to
you
hear
so
from you
much.
soon.
Yes, likewise. Hang tight. Bye. Hang tight.